There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb.
Miley Cyrus, The Climb. Stand radio style. Hope everybody out there's doing well. Kind of like it better when I start that way. So we're going to work on that. I didn't fix that. That's awesome. I'm going to do my best. So I'm recording a couple of these in a row just to make my life a little easier in some ways. So needless to say, this should be fun this way. This is an interesting one for me, and I thought this isn't necessary. I don't know. I'm not sure how this is going to be received. I guess I'm going to find out because I think this is actually useful information. I think it's good to know this. I think there's a lot of people in varying stages of manifestation, and I think some people aren't in a place where, like, if you give them, if like you talk about something that's even remotely negative, I guess it's not like okay. So if that's kind of your vibe, I don't think you should keep watching the rest of this video. Because I'm going to talk about some stuff that's realities. So, Anya's talked about 15% of her people, and it's not necessarily anything she's doing, because it's not, and I agree. You can give great advice all you want, but there's sometimes scenarios that are outside of the control of the person giving advice, certainly one. Two, we can't always control how we're behaving, right? Like if we're having negative thought after negative thought after negative thought, and we keep saying, hey, you need to, self-love, you need to try to look more positive, try to glass half full, like whatever, like throw a bunch of analogies out there. Sometimes you can't, you can walk a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? It's just one of those things where you do everything you can, and then there's even those times where it just doesn't seem like it's in the cards. I don't know why. It's happened to me before where I gave up. I mean, I will say that was very different with the situation I have with my specific someone now. Like I said, there's always this crazy connection with her and I. That's what's been weird. Relationships are interesting in their own regard, but there was a very, very deep soul connection. Like I've always heard you just know when you meet them. This is the only time in my life I've actually just known, so I think, anyway. So, different scenario in this case, but I've certainly had relationships in the past that I tried very hard to manifest, tried to move forward with, and just couldn't. And grateful at this point of my life that I couldn't. And that's why in a lot of cases, I even add that restriction, if you will, to my beliefs, my limitation, in that I want to make sure I don't manifest anything that doesn't congeal with everyone involved. Like if it's, I don't want that. Don't let me manifest that. If this is not good for everybody involved, then don't. So the reason I'm calling this What's Best for You is because there are times in life where things work out differently than we planned, differently than we imagined, differently than we hoped. And being extremely fixed on the outcome isn't really truly about like the law of attraction, Esther Hicks and all. It's about like law of attraction for sure. It's about keeping your energy going in that direction and all that, right? Neville Goddard's about imagining it, but he doesn't necessarily bring up stories where people were anything but like kind of perfect. But I'm sure there was examples of people that were close, So again, sometimes things aren't exactly how we imagine them to be. And I think it's good to know how to navigate those waters, to know what to do if you get to that point where you're truly letting go, probably, and it might just be a legit let go to get you back into shape. I'm not saying all of them are. I'm dealing with the 15% here. This is my concern is, that 15% of people, technically speaking, 85% of you guys, this doesn't totally apply to, but again, it's good information, good knowledge, I believe. So how this kind of came about, this whole making sure we're open to what life has to show us, instead of just solely fixated on the outcome. And this is kind of a trippy story, but she tells it so like cool, like in a way that it seems like she's okay. And I'm assuming things weren't as serious as they might have sounded. But anyway, I've been trying to manifest this ex back for 4 months. It's been 4 months of no contact, and he has been with a third party since the day he left. I've been visualizing, doing all the techniques every day, and believing that he will come back eventually. A few days ago, I started feeling like my thoughts about him were obsessive and becoming too stressful for me to handle. And I felt so emotional and decided to let him go finally. Yesterday, I was in a horrible car crash. He just says this all nonchalantly. Yesterday, I was in a horrible car crash that totaled my car and left me in shock. That very same day, my ex called me out of the blue because he had heard about my accident and wanted to check on me. I had to do a double take when the phone rang and his name came up. He ended up coming over for 2 hours, and he had a good talk, just like the old days. So funny how many times I'd visualized him knocking at my door, and here he was. I couldn't believe it. He seems to be in the very good place now, very happy with his life, relationship, his career, and he's moving out of state for his job in 2 months. So I felt that maybe this was a closure or a sign I needed so badly to let go of him and the expectation of controlling the situation. I was very supportive and happy for him for his newfound happiness, even if it stings my heart a bit. He gave me a hug goodbye and was texting me a bit when he got home. I just couldn't even believe that we were even talking again after all these months of anticipation. There is a new man around who really cares about me and wants a chance at a relationship with me. So I decided to finally try and open up my heart again to the possibility of having love, since my ex found his, and I deserve to be happy too. I know now that he still cares about me, and no hard feelings are there. The universe wants what's best for me, and maybe that's what's best for both of us. Only time will tell. It's good to have affirmations. I know not every success story I'm sharing are necessarily trying to prove anything other than life has a really awesome way of working. That is what I'm selling here. Open up to it, because some of us, 15%, it's all, maybe more, maybe less, right around there, okay? Some of us maybe are chasing an avenue that we're looking for love, like the song goes, looking for love in all the wrong places, right? Looking for love in too many faces, right? Anyway, I should have been a country singer, right? Y'all, shucks. Anyway, I'm probably going to, long story short, we definitely can affect what we experience in the future. If we're looking for love, that's one thing. If we're looking for a relationship with that dude, well, that's not necessarily love. That's not necessarily all these things we've built out for. He may not be compatible with that. He just might not be. You've grown and want something more wonderful and want something else to fit the mold. Again, 15%, you want something to fit the mold. Maybe it's time to open up to someone that fits the mold that's really amazing. Maybe it's time to stop trying to put powdered sugar on a turd when instead you could actually have a brownie. Maybe a brownie with powdered sugar. I don't know. Something that's not as turdy. There you go. I don't know. This has made an enormous difference in my life. This is what I consider kind of going with the flow. I feel like, and this is kind of what she was talking about with trying to control life. When we're so focused on trying to make a specific outcome happen, sometimes we lose complete sight of going with the flow and kind of like, yes, this is what I want. This is the direction I want to go. Now let go and stop trying to laser focus manage it. Go, let it happen and see what happens. And be open to what the universe has to show you. Just because she's saying what she's saying doesn't mean Lord knows what could happen in 2 months and the guy's like, the job didn't fall through, you know. But it sounds like he's made his choice and is moving on. And he's happy and he's in love. And that's kind of cool. If you love this person, you want him to be happy. And yeah, it sucks. That's like I've said with my significant other. If she chooses in the end to not want to be with me, that, you know, I respect that. I will honor it, of course. That'll suck, but I want the best for her. I think that's what matters in the end, you know, is I kind of think I am the best for her, but we'll see how that plays out anyway. So again, what's best for us? Our higher self universe, source, God, they're looking out for us. They are. And we want what's best for us. So let's try to open ourselves up a little bit more, 15%, and try to make sure that we're giving it a fair chance. Hey, I got a phone call. Isn't that good time? Good timing. So yeah, that's how it goes. We're going to go out here with a song by Owl City. This is 2 songs. This is going to be so awesome. You guys are going to hear my voiceover thing. This is stupid. So this will be this is the only edited video I've probably done, and God knows how long because of the phone call. That was wonderful. Going out with that Owl City song. It's called Fireflies.
I'd like to